Good morning. Today is the 28th of December 2023 and I'm going to go over some levels for today for MES, SPY, Qs, NASDAQ, oil and gold futures. Before we start, let's take a look at any news today. There's some news at 8:30. How did that move the market? We saw a top and tail candle, not a massive amount of movement. And we do have news at 10 o'clock. Which is relatively important to keep an eye on, home sales, and then we've got oil a bit later at 11. So 10 o'clock at 11, and a few minor news. Maybe the 8 and 4 week bill auction could move the market, but 10 and 11 to keep an eye on today. Okay, so on my screen is the ES or the MES index, S&P 500 index futures, and we're looking at the 1 hour time frame. And pretty much got levels still in from yesterday, which is still pretty valid with the addition of this one more I'm adding now. So levels today I'm watching are, I quite like a bounce at our level was watching yesterday for a break and retest, and that is at 48.30, 48.29, which is not far from where we are. I quite like it bouncing off of the 200 to continue this move up. And as you can see, we put in this, where's my pen? Okay, no pen today, doesn't seem to want to work. But okay, so we put in this kind of step motion up, and we're coming back down. You can clearly see the levels. You got this level here, this level here, this level here, and you can see where the tops and bottoms, you could almost block them in. Why is my pen not working? No, nothing. Okay, that's a pain. Let's just exit. And so basically 48.30 is an area I'm watching for a bounce, but because it's so close to where we are right now, it's a high risk bounce. So something just to bear in mind. Are we working now? Here we go, a little pen back. So we're watching this area here for a bounce, and that will be basically the area of confluence, tops of these candles, and we haven't really come back to retest that area yet, which is why I quite like the bounce around here. And also we've got yesterday's double top as a, or the post-market double top as a rejection area, which we can see kind of has been honouring this trend line. We've got this trend line at the bottom, we've got this trend line drawn from a few weeks ago, basically connecting those two together, and we've kind of been running along it. And look at yesterday's highs, you couldn't have got any closer to that trend line. Touched it there, touched it there, touched it there, before finally breaking through, coming back, retesting it, but it couldn't hold this high, and it's rejected in the post-market or the pre-market today. So right now we're coming into a bounce area, so I'd wait for confirmation with that. So what we're looking for is wait for the 9:30, probably want to wait for the 9:30 opening candle, and then just judge where we are. But you can see it's touched that level right now and it's bounced from it, so it is a valid level if you've got it. I quite like the rejection off the top of this high, from this is at all-time highs I believe, and maybe using this trend line as a stop or even as a rejection with confirmation. So we could use that area, and for a bounce, obviously got that one. I quite like the bounce back down here again. We almost got to it. In fact, I did go long yesterday around about there a little bit early, and I didn't handle it very well. In fact, I was short from, where was I short yesterday? It would have been I was short from that trend line, and no, let's rephrase that. I was long. I was going for the break and retest. It came in, it broke, retested it quite late on yesterday, about 2 PM I think it was, and I was long, and I was in decent green at the time. I added as well because I only wanted to add to a winning position, and I added, and I add another add down here because that's my original one. So I got in a little bit late, and then when it came down it added, and then we saw this big sell-off candle, and I stopped out. I had a few stops in place, so I had a bigger loss than I wanted yesterday. I literally walked away for 1 minute with no stop loss, and in that 1 minute I was down like $200 so per account, which is a bit annoying. So I stopped out, and I did go long down here again, but I didn't handle it very well. I think I was out here and here, and and that's when I decided to walk away. It was a losing day yesterday, but you know, normally I'd try and overtrade, and probably that would go against me. And my original long, I did have a target for high of the day, and I had a target for VWAP, but in the end I got out of VWAP because I wasn't really in the mood for trading, and my idea still worked. It would have worked perfectly, and I probably would have been in the green yesterday, but red day yesterday. But I still want to honour the levels, and that's why I quite like this level here. And this is basically the break and retest we've been waiting for. This is the air gap I like to see as well, rather than a push up and back down. And maybe this could be the play we've been waiting for. But I also quite like a bounce coming from this lower level down here again, and possibly we could be coinciding with the trend line as well at some point. And if we do sell off today and we break down through that level and we break the trend line, we've got this 200 moving average, which was going upwards, as you can see, and it's just starting to curve over now. So maybe we're seeing a beginning of a start of a change of trend. Something I want to show you as well. This is the S&P 500 stocks above the 50-day average, and you can see back in October, before we started our rally up, we were down here, and that was the rally up. And traditionally, every time we get into this area, we see a relatively big sell-off. You go back, this goes back to 2019, 2020, this is June 2020, this is the COVID time, 2021, 22, last August last year, December last year, and then obviously we had July this year when we saw the sell-off. So we're coming into that area again, so something to keep an eye on. So potentially this may indicate that we could be starting to see a bit of a market sell-off soon. And I do also keep an eye on the 5-day average as well. You can see we're up in the upper end of that as well, and I watch the 200-day average as well, and we're kind of coming into this area where both times we've rejected, but we can't quite get past the COVID. This is the COVID era as well. So, but this is one to keep an eye on. Hang on that one. The 50 moving average. Where's that? I've got to find it again. That one. 200. 50-day average. And we're coming into the area to keep an eye on. So that's something which will maybe influence my choice of going long. I've got a short position already. My short was yesterday's, was this high here on Qs, so I'm short Qs at the moment, and that's just a speculative to add on to the winning Qs short I took last week as well. So level wise, just to recap, quite like the bounce off the 200, 4800 psychological number. This area here, 48.15 for a bounce, and then we may have missed the 48.31, that's already bounced, but that area. And I quite like either the break and retest of 48.41 or a rejection. So that'll be one I'll be watching for with confirmation. SPY, all-time highs are in sight. Top of this red zone, this is a supply zone, is the all-time highs. So potentially we've got the trend line up there as well, so maybe we could see it run up and reject it back down. It's an area supply as well, which we've been sitting in. We've tested it once, tested it twice, finally broke through, and that's where we are right now. Still looking bullish, broken that pivot. So rejection wise, 480 for rejection, but I quite like the bounce if we can get back down to 476.06, that area there for a bounce. And again, if we get back down to this area, we've got the point of control, which is the highest volume point for these candlesticks, and we've got the 200 moving average, and there's a level of 471 as well. to watch for. So that's an area for a bounce. Qs. Let's go into the hourly. So this is what I'm currently short. I'm not short Qs, I'm actually long SQQ, which is the leveraged equivalent, but the inverse. So this is my break-even area here. I'm a little bit down on that at the moment, but I've still got my previous Qs where I got in there and I got out here from a few days ago. So I'm still kind of in the green, but this trade's actually in the red. I'm hoping for something similar. Bounces wise, probably the same as yesterday. The 410, 30, 50. We've got all the bottoms from yesterday as well. Maybe you could look at this area as well. 412 as a bounce. 411.86. Let's put that in. What I just did there. There we go. That area there. 411.95, 412 area for a potential bounce, and you may see it come down potentially into there. That could be the stop 411.52, but the entry is 411.8, so a 40 cent stop almost. And that's it. Long really. Can't see any weakness yet in this. Nasdaq. Let's clone that. I quite like this area here for a bounce. 17.068. I also quite like this one for a higher risk bounce. So these are the two areas I'm watching for. And you've got this point of control down level here as well. So let's just put that in as well. Okay, so if we're waiting for a pullback, I quite like the bounce coming into 17,100, that area there. And we've got the 50 as well. And we've got this area of, let's say, confluence. So probably this entire area all around here for a bounce. And you could probably use this area as a stop, but that'd be a wide stop, or the 50 moving average as a stop. If we close below the 50, then time to get out. If we do see a push down, then I quite like the bounce of 17.068, and that's it really. Can't really see any shorts today, apart from the higher risk double tops up here. Oil. It's doing so well recently, holding on to these levels here, and it was definitely holding that area. We broke it. I thought we were going to bounce off of it yesterday, but we didn't. And we've finally broken down through the 50, closed below the 50, and we're closed below the 200. So no real. If I were to find, if we could go with a trend. We need to close below this pivot really, and then we can probably look for some sort of short play. Put that in. So this is the area, so we're kind of breaking below it now. So this is probably the play, the breakdown, the pull back to the 200, and then the reject. So a bit late on this one, so we can only look for the next play, which would be maybe a bounce around here. So 72.40 to 72.50 area. 72.50, that's a better area there. So watch for a bounce potentially at that area. And then ultimately, if we can get back down to here again, then I'll be getting quite interested. I've got my alert in. I'm going to make my alert a bit earlier this time. So I had my alert set for this level. I had 67.20. And my alert just there, and I didn't get it. My alert wasn't triggered, so I didn't even see it come down. So I probably would have taken a starter position as it got into this zone on the swing and added to it if it pulled back down a bit further. So that's one to keep an eye on. No trades really unless you can bounce off of this area. And gold. So it's looking strong. This is all-time highs. No real play really. We need it to come back down, retest this area to 50, maybe the 200. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. Maybe a double top there. That's a high risk rejection. And we're coming into this area. We received once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Then we finally broke it, and we came smashing back down. We're back in that area again. So until we know where the next few days go. Higher volume as well here. Higher volume there. Higher volume there. Higher volume there. Not quite as high volume as we've seen, so weaker volume. So maybe we could see a bit more momentum if the volume continues. But we have reducing volume. If you look, we have got decreasing volume there, while we've got a candle price moving up. So it doesn't look like it wants to break out just yet. But it is Christmas and New Year volume, so maybe you can't really read too much into that. Okay, that's it really. Just quickly look at the levels here again. Came down to the area we were watching, and look at that, perfect bounce. Perfect bounce there, exactly what we wanted it to do, but maybe a bit late on that. So I don't really want to take it if it comes back down a second time. I think we've missed that opportunity's gone now. Or you could take it as a high risk, very tight stop loss bounce. Got a lot of volume here as well, and the point of control's down here as well. So you know, well, there's obviously a lot of volume because there's a lot of price action there. It's difficult. I still quite like this area. I'll keep an eye on that area anyway, but if not, I'll be watching this area next, and potentially coming off of that trend line. Okay, and then obviously we've got a high risk double top rejection if we can come into that area, and our stop can be that trend line. Or if we're looking strong and it's just slowly grinding up, maybe we can wait for the break, the retest, and then the entry back in again to continue the uptrend. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I won't be around for a video tomorrow, sadly. I'm at a funeral, so this will be my last video of the year, and I'll be back on the 2nd. Yeah, so if I don't speak to you before, have a happy new year, and I'll see you on the 2nd of January. I may be around a bit later to do my recap video, but we've got family coming over as well. Okay, thanks for watching.